Good morning, good morning. We just had a couple of technical difficulties getting live this morning, so sorry for the delay. It's this magnificent Monday, and I'm so grateful for technology. Very grateful for technology. In fact, I just think this morning I'm the most grateful woman on the universe. I have so much to be thankful for. Got beautiful ladies at the table here sharing the morning with me. Get to wake up to some fresh rain from the Lord, and the Word, the Word just is so powerful this morning. So excited. February the 11th, it's my daddy's 80th birthday. Happy birthday to my daddy. We got to have a party for him on Saturday. I got hugs and kisses from him. I'm a daddy's girl, always have been, always will be. Happy birthday, Buck Hildebrand. Love you very much. Hope you're watching with me. February the 11th, we're in Exodus chapter 32 and 33. And I can't believe how many times this year. We're on day 42, so this is our 42nd day to be reading straight through the Bible this year. And I can't believe how many times this year already the very first sentence got me. And here's what it says. When the people saw how long it was, let me start all over again. Exodus 32 verse 1. When the people saw how long it was, I want to do this right. Third time's a charm. When the people saw how long it was taking Moses to come back down the mountain, they gathered around Aaron. That right there got me. Now, just to make the thought complete, I'm going to go ahead and read the next sentence. Come on, they said, make us some gods who can lead us. We don't know what happened to this fellow, Moses, who brought us here from the land of Egypt. Yeah, we don't know what happened to this fellow, Moses. There is so much packed in the scripture right here. So here, just a little background of what we've already read. These people are the ones that have seen more miracles in their lifetime than probably what happens over the next 2,000 years almost. Now, that's probably an exaggeration on my part. Maybe not. I've not researched it to tell you that I'm technically accurate with that. But they saw miracle upon miracle upon miracle upon miracle upon miracle upon miracle. First miracle is that Moses went back to save them. He was 40 years away. He was a shepherd. He argued with God to the point that it made God angry with him, that he wasn't the one that was supposed to go back and rescue the people from Egypt. And then he turned the water into blood. We had the frogs, we had the flies, we had the gnats. We had the complete darkness, and then we had the death of the firstborn males through the land, and Pharaoh finally let them go. And then, as if that wasn't enough, then Pharaoh starts chasing them. They're at the Red Sea with no place to go, and Moses raises the rod of God that he has in his hand, and God parts that Red Sea, and the water walls up, and they get to walk across on dry land. And when they all get to the other side, they turn and they watch Pharaoh's army come through the same place they just came through, and the waters just engulfed them and killed them all. I mean, and then they've seen water come out of a rock when they were thirsty. They've seen manna, and they're eating every single day this manna raining down from heaven to feed them. The list just goes on and on. They're getting to see the glory of God in a cloud every day and in fire every night. And then they've come to this mountain. If you just think back to the last couple of days that we've been reading, God had told them to come to the border of this mountain so he could speak directly to them. But their fear of him wouldn't allow them to do that. They were too afraid to actually hear the voice of God. So that's the reason why Moses went up to the mountain to begin with. How like us. Here, just a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago on the video, I talked about how I can be in my prayer closet in the morning and God will speak, or I'll get a word, or I just have this time with the Lord. And I'm like, oh, I could just set the world on fire. Okay, God, I heard you. I'm ready. I'm your girl. I'm ready. And then by the end of the day, it's like, I can't even remember what God said to me that morning. And then as I was reading this, I thought about if I went and got that timer, I thought about actually doing this for a Bible study this morning, and I just set it to 90 seconds, just wound it up to 90 seconds. And this just told everybody to be real still, and I hit the button, and it clicks off. Tick, tick, tick. How long 90 seconds would feel. And that's not 90 seconds. I didn't get close to 90 seconds. I mean, we can't be still for 10 seconds. Or I can't. I mean, that's all I have to share with you guys is what this speaks to me. This speaks to me. I get answers to the very issues I'm dealing with today, on the day that I read this. And I got answers to situations I'm dealing with today in these scriptures today. I mean, they're at the height of their glory. They're not hungry at this point. They're not worrying where their water's going to come from. They have God in a cloud every single day. They have him in fire at night. They know God's presence is with. He has drawn them in so close that he was wanting to speak to them face to face. And they're the ones that refused that blessing. So Moses, this fellow Moses, who they took all of their problems to, he was their leader. I mean, there wasn't anybody in that camp that wouldn't have said, if you've got a problem, go to Moses. They all would have said, if you've got a problem, go to Moses. If you've got a problem, go to Moses. It wasn't, okay, go to your neighbor Donna and go to your neighbor Tom and go to your... No, it was take your problems to Moses, right? I mean, that's how this was going. And so they know that God has summoned Moses to the mountain. And let me read it again now. When the people saw how long it was taking Moses to come back down the mountain, they gathered around Aaron. Come on, they said, make us some gods who can lead us. We don't know what happened to this fellow Moses who brought us here from the land of Egypt. Boy, we want to get ahead of God. We don't want to wait. Waiting is hard. We want our answers now. And in 2019, we live in the land of instant gratification. If I can't see results right now, then I'm going to look to the next answer and to the next one. Maybe you've got the answer. Maybe you. Well, this ministry isn't satisfying me. Let me go work for this ministry. Well, this job isn't good enough for me, so let me go get that job. Well, I just don't think... It's hard to wait on the Lord. And this helped me a little bit. First of all, it helped me to settle down this morning, today, February the 11th, 29. I woke up, and if you would go into my office, I have a stack this tall, no kidding, of some very, very important documents on my desk. That is the very essence of the ministry that God's called me to do, stacked up on my desk right there. And I woke up this morning, the first thing I did this morning was I thanked God. Oh, I'm so glad I did that. I thanked God. Which may be why I got the revelation I got. Because I actually read this last night first, and then I read it again this morning. And then my mind just started racing. Ooh, I got to do this. And I read this. When the people saw how long it was taking, when Elizabeth saw how long it was going to take, and then that sense of heaviness, that sense of, can I? Am I the one? What if I fail? What if I can't get through that stack? What if the what if started? And in that moment, God showed me that I was those people, this fellow Moses. What disrespect for Moses, the one that had led them. out of their bondage. In fact, I just, knowing people the way I know them, I know they were guilty of well, in fact, I think this proves it, actually. I'm getting revelation as I speak to you. This passage right here proves they had made Moses their God. They had made Moses their God. And when Moses let them down, which if you make any man or woman your God, they'll always let you down. Always. Always. That's why I tell people, you don't follow these videos to follow Elizabeth. You know, I'll go out of town for 3 days and Kim's not available and we won't have videos for 3 days. And then you're left. You see, that's not what I want to do with these videos. You continue on reading whether we're on a video or not. You continue seeking God whether there's an Elizabeth or a Kim or not. Your relationship with the Lord is not dependent on a person. These people's relationship evidently was very dependent on a person, because when that person was just absent for 40 days, they created their own gods. And that's what we do. 90 seconds in, and we're ready to look for our next God. Man, the waiting is hard. Even when God's given you the word wait as your word, it's hard to wait. And then, so they come to Aaron. I just got a few little pointers. It's things that just tidbits for me. And when Aaron saw how excited the people were, we got to be real careful when we're doing what we're doing and the people start getting excited. Because how quickly our eyes shift off of the Lord and onto the people. Aaron stopped looking for Moses, but more importantly, Aaron stopped looking for God. God spoke to Aaron just like he spoke to Moses. But Aaron had that people-pleasing spirit on him. It was more important for Aaron to please the people than it was for him to listen and wait on God. How quickly they've turned away from the way I commanded them to live, God told Moses. How quickly they've turned away from the way I commanded them to live. When God says go, we go, and we don't move until God says. We don't leave a church because we're mad. That's not the reason to change churches. We don't leave a church because somebody snubbed us and didn't speak to us. We don't leave the church because the leadership fails. We don't leave a fellowship. We don't leave a friendship because somebody fails. We go when God says go, and we don't go until God says go. Who are we obeying? I mean, our flesh will have us pick up and wander all the time because our flesh can't wait 90 seconds, much less 40 days. And then verse 17, when Joshua heard the boisterous noise of the people shouting below, then he exclaimed to Moses, it sounds like war in the camp. And the reason I highlighted that is because for the first time, I don't know why. Now, y'all are, I know, far more advanced than I am. Y'all could have just sat at the table today and told me that, of course, Joshua was with Moses. This is the first year I've really seen it. And so I know, I'm telling you, I know God's got something for me. In 2019, Joshua's going to teach me something. He's already teaching me. But for some reason this year, reading this story, Joshua jumped out at me. I didn't know Joshua had gone up on the mountain with God. He didn't go all the way up. But in the readings this year, Joshua was with Moses. He wasn't back there with the people. This right here shows it. When Joshua heard the boisterous noise of the people shouting below, he then said, it looks like a war in the camp. But Moses said, oh no, it's not a shout of victory for war, it's a celebration. And then, God got so mad that he was going to destroy the people. While he's still up on the mountain, he told Moses, get out of my way. I've seen how stubborn and rebellious these people are. Now leave me alone so my fierce anger can blaze against them and I'll destroy them all. And Moses says, oh no, Lord, you don't want to do that. no, you don't want to do that. And he gets God to change his mind. He intercedes on the behalf of the people and gets God to change his mind. And then when Moses is confronted with it, when they came near the camp, Moses saw the calf and the dancing, and he burned with anger. And he threw the stone tablets to the ground, smashed them at the foot of the mountain, and he took the calf that he had made and he burned it. And then he ground it into powder and he threw it in the water and forced the people to drink it. The very man who stopped God from killing them all felt that same anger. Hi, Damien. How are you this morning? Hi, Margot. It's good to see you guys on. And then poor little Aaron. Poor little Aaron. Don't get so upset, my Lord, he tells Moses. You yourself know how evil these people can be. I simply threw it in the fire and out came this calf. Man, we justify what we want to justify. You know, that's why we read. It's how come we need, hide this word in my heart, O Lord, so that I might not sin against thee. Because if I'm hell-bent on doing something, I justify it. Oh, well, it's because I did this for you. I did this. Well, the calf just came out. I mean, we just read that he molded the calf. But I just threw it in the fire and it just came out. You know how evil these people are. If you don't see yourself in those words, then I'm just saying you need to pray. I saw myself in these words. And I am praying. I am praying. And then I had a dear friend of mine earlier last week. We read a scripture that talks about how God sends his angels before us. And, you know, a little statement like that will just stick with you.
Gradient or doesn't matter.
And I'm running late for my meeting. And I missed how the angel goes ahead of us. How many times the angel goes ahead of us. She had just sent me a text and said, Elizabeth, in today's reading, this was back a week or so ago, once again it shows how the angel goes before us. And here we are, verse 34. Now go lead the people to the place I told you about. Look, my angel will lead the way before you. And then in verse 2, I will send an angel before you. That twice in today's reading alone. It says, I will send an angel before you. In the column, I wrote that Aaron let the people get out of control. I mean, that'll speak to us in so many ways and so many levels. It'll speak to us about our kids, our grandkids, about the people we work with, the people we hang with. If they start getting out of control, it's not going to lead to good things. Aaron let the people get out of control. If he had controlled them, if he'd have stepped into the authority he had to be the one left behind to lead them, then a lot of this could have been avoided, but he let the people get out of control. But God sent his angel before him, and I'm so grateful he sends his angels before us. I absolutely believe when he says go, because of how many times I've read it in the Word, I believe he sends his angels before us. He sends his angels before us to soften the hearts. He sends his angels before us to make the way clear for us, to provide a safe pathway for us to go. Just powerful. Verse 15. For your presence among us sets your people and me apart from other people on the earth. See, it's one of the things that causes us to get antsy. Once we realize that we're not just chosen, but we're called, then we start feeling different. And this can start at a very young age in us. A very young age. Because these things are done before God ever laid the foundation of the earth. He thought of our name before he laid the foundation of the earth. He knew our destiny. He chose us and he called us way before we were ever born. So we can feel the pull on us even as young children. And we can start feeling so different. Why am I not like everybody else? Why don't I fit in? And many times it's because of the call that's on our life that calls us. For your presence among us sets your people and me apart from all other people on the earth. And then we want to behave like the Israelites did, and we want to get false images, and we want to follow all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff. For me, I felt so different as a young girl, so I just dressed different. I dressed different on purpose. I didn't want to be like everybody else. But I didn't know what was driving that. It was more of an insecurity of why I was different. You know, I put on a mask of, I'm in control of this difference I have. I'm going to dress the way I want to dress. But in essence, I was really chasing after something, not knowing what I was chasing after because I didn't understand the call on my life. I wasn't fully grounded in the Word. I believe that as grandparents and as parents, we can avoid that in our kids when we read the scriptures and we know the truth and we know that we're set apart. Then we have an explanation for the kids. Well, of course, honey, you know, you're not like all the other kids. Of course they're going to make fun of you because you're chosen by God. You're special. You are special. You're created in the likeness of your heavenly Father, and not everybody understands that. Then all of a sudden what feels so scary to a youngster starts making sense. And then we can grow up with our uniqueness being a strength because we know it's from God. Anyway, I could go on and on. So it was just powerful for me this morning. Today's scriptures spoke directly to where I'm at in my life right now today. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm the most blessed woman on the face of the earth, I'll tell y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Good morning, Rosalie. Hi, Eileen. It is a magnificent Monday. I love you guys.